Hey guys, I'm Aaron, and today we're going to talk about drawing floors in your architectural model. So we talked last week, we looked at some different options for drawing walls in. So much like that video, this is not a comprehensive everything you have to know about drawing floors. The nice thing about SketchUp is you can kind of do things the way you want. So none of this video is supposed to be presented as the only way to draw floors. This is just some tips and tricks that I've come across as I've created architectural models and drawing floors into them that might be helpful for you. Let's hop in. Okay, so here I have down here, I have a little floor and then some walls. I have some tags where I put them into different groups. You break that stuff down however you want, but I do like to urge whenever possible, make sure that you are doing it in such a way that, you're grouping stuff, you don't have everything together. You put it on tags that make sense for things you can turn on and off. That's important. All right, so let's look at how I'd go about putting a floor onto this. So I'm gonna say, we're gonna do this a couple different ways. So we'll start real simple and just say we're gonna put a floor around the whole thing. So what I could do at this point, this is super simple, is go ahead and grab my line. I'm gonna click around corner to corner to corner. And what I wanna get out of this is basically a flat surface that represents the bottom of where my floor is. So you think this as the top of the ceiling sheathing, the bottom of the envelope that the framing will go into, whatever you want. And then I'm going to take that, I'm just going to pull it up to the depth. This depth now is from the top of the wall below, so the bearing wall under the floor, to the top of whatever flooring I have on there, whatever the next wall is going to sit on. So if I'm going to do this, maybe this is the depth of my joists plus the depth of my floor sheathing. That's what I'm going to use. Once I've got that depth in there, that becomes the group that is my floor system. So I'm going to go ahead and make it a group right now. And then I would take that and put that onto the floor tag. So that was super simple, right? Goodbye. No, I'm just kidding. There's of course more we're going to talk about. So a couple things that come into play here are with floors. Again, keeping in mind that this geometry is the volume of the floor. It's the three-dimensional volume that represents everything that is the floor. So there may be some things we want to add here. We may do something like, let's say we want to do a cantilever. Let's say this section right here is going to extend out an additional 2 feet. That's pretty simple because I just take this and I bring this out and type 24. And there we go. Now my floor is sitting out beyond. Now, what about things like, okay, so what am I going to do under here? Am I going to sheathe under here? How does this get finished up? That is totally up to you. So this geometry that is the floor volume is going to change depending on what you're using the model for. But what you want to do is make sure that this represents the depth and the size of where the floor is going to be and how that's going to be important. So taking this a little further, let's say that this room right here doesn't actually have floor on it. This whole room right here extends all the way up to where the second floor is. So to do that, I'm going to draw the second floor walls real quick. So I'm going to say my second floor walls come around something like this, to here, to here, to here, to here. And I'm going to offset that just like I did in the video we did before. I'm going to say that's 6 inches and then delete this face. And then I can take those walls and put them up 9 foot. And now I will grab all of this, make it a group, and then apply that group, of course, to my exterior walls. Okay, so now when I look at this floor, I want this floor to not go over here because I want to take these walls up. So that's obviously pretty simple because I open up my floor group, I do a push-pull, I pull it back like that, and it ends. So most likely what's going to happen though is this floor is probably going to come out to here, and then maybe we'll come up here and grab these 2 pieces, bring them over here like this. Okay, and then that's where that floor ends because these walls go up high. So just as a note, when these walls are going to go up high, I probably don't want to build a second wall on top. That's going to cause an issue with like a hinge situation. So I might take these walls down here, these first floor walls, break them real quick, and then I can actually have that come all the way up. Maybe those are big storying walls. Maybe this wall has this is a railing that looks down below. I don't know, something like that. But the important part is when you create your floor for that situation, you're just creating this envelope of where that floor actually is. Nothing has to come around to this part because it's just going to sit inside there like that. All right, taking that a little further, let's do another floor over here. Well, let's put a stairwell inside this one. So I'm going to start with a rectangle. And if I know where the stairwell is going to fit, I'll put that into my opening beforehand. So we're going to say we want two different stairwells. This is not obviously a very great design, but let's say we have two stairwells. One that comes right up against the wall, maybe right here there's a rectangle that is that stairwell opening, and a separate one that maybe sits like right here. And we have a I don't know, a spiral staircase, something like that. I'm going to put the spiral staircase opening in right here. So I'm going to put the exact size of it, whatever that is. So I'm going to say, I don't know, 5 foot by 5 foot. And then I'm going to delete that surface out. Okay, so that's what the bottom of my floor should look like. Over here, if I have a stairwell, so maybe there's just long stairs going up this way, I'll put another rectangle in and I'll put it like that and delete that. Now I'm going to take it and give it the depth. So again, whatever the depth of my floor system is, plus my sheathing, whatever that happens to be, it's going to come up like this. Now, what generally is probably not going to happen is I'm not going to have floor members running through here. I'm going to treat this situation probably more like what I got over here. So what I'll probably do is maybe push that through, get rid of that, and that is where the envelope that my actual floor system sits in, right? Does that make more sense? And then what I would do with my floors on the second wall, maybe I do something like this. Oops, hold on, back up, grab my floor, make it a group, and then put that on the floor level, on the floor tag. Level, where did level come from? It's never even been called level. All right, I'm gonna grab that. I'm gonna offset that again, 6 inches, just like I did before. And then I will cut it here and here, and then just take this section, take that up to whatever my height is, and get rid of this. All right. So then I have something like that, and then same thing, because this is an exterior wall it's going to story, I'll probably come into this group, draw a quick line right here, and right here, and just pull that all the way up. And there we go. So now this turned in a little more than just floors, but you can see the interaction between the floors and the walls and how that's going to sit in there and how that's going to break apart the different pieces. When you look at it like this, it should look like where the framing is going to go, right? Because my framing is going to be out here. I'm going to have a break. Once I put siding on, of course, this is all going to blend together. But if I'm making a wall or a building where I'm actually concerned about the pieces, then the floor being that envelope is going to sit inside, much like that. Okay, so again, I'm going to keep disclaiming this. This is not meant to be a comprehensive how-to, the only way to model things inside of SketchUp. When you model in SketchUp, you're going to model for the purpose that you need to satisfy. So if you don't care about things like where the floors and walls separate and you want to make a monolithic mass, that's cool. Go ahead and do that. Break it apart like this if you're concerned with things like framing or how different levels or layers are going to interact. How big can that storing wall be? To worry about designing that differently because it's so big. That's the kind of stuff that I wanted to look at real quick. So, of course, like even with this, there's different ways to do it. And of course, we love your input. I love to hear how other people are using it. If you have a different way of using SketchUp to frame this, go ahead and let me know. Please don't fill the comments with how I did it wrong from how you would do it. That I get it. There's different ways to do it. You do it differently than me. Tell me about it. Just let's be collaborative. Let's work together. If you like that video, go ahead and click like down below. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. We create several videos each and every week, and you'll be notified of all of them if you subscribe. Most importantly, though, like I said, leave us your comments. How would you do it? What would you do differently? What purpose do you try to get out of SketchUp when you put your walls and floors in? We like making these videos a lot. We like them even more when they're showing something you want to see. Thank you.